It's Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity with your succulent tip of the day. And today I am planting out another one of Susan Auch's fabulous pots. Susan is a brilliant designer of pottery and a brilliant person. So it is a pleasure for me to plant her pots. I was at Planter Paradise yesterday getting some plants for another client in Coronado, and I spotted this cactus and I thought, oh, that would be perfect in the pot that I have that Susan gave me. So I dutifully, read the tag because I don't know my cactus as well as I know my succulents. And I, noted what it was called, put it in the back of the truck, and somehow on the way home the tag fell out. So I am sorry, guys. I don't know what this is other than to say that it is absolutely fabulous. So when you are going to be planting a pot, particularly if you're planting a cactus, make sure that it has some holes. Susan does a beautiful job with her drainage. We want to make sure that your cactus is not going to stand in water. And, you can use your discretion as far as how big of a plant that you put in a pot. If you want something on the smaller side in a larger pot or something bigger in a larger pot, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't make any difference. Just use your own intuition as to what you think is going to look good. So, first things first, this is a cactus, so I want to be careful with it. I'm just going to tip it out of its pot. And the soil that it was planted in is very, very porous. There's a lot of perlite in it, which is great. This hasn't been in this pot that long. See, there's no real root ball established. You know how sometimes when you take things out of a pot, they have the shape of the pot? This doesn't, which is great. I like that. So I'm going to take some of this extra soil. Now, I could put screen in the bottom of the pot for over the drainage holes if I wanted to, but I forgot and I'm lazy and it's not really that important to me. So, because this plant is going to be staged outside anyway, I am not going to be giving it any supplemental irrigation because it's a cactus and it really doesn't need it. So, you're going to tamp your soil down so that it doesn't decompose in 6 months. Tamp it down good. Then it's really not that hard to work with cactus if you've got some good leather gloves. These are man gloves. They're called Hardy. They're Greg's, and they're just really thick leather. Pretty safe. But I also usually use my multi-tool when I'm working with a cactus, and I will grab it by the roots or by the bottom, take my multi-tool closed to give me some leverage on the top so that I'm not making contact with the plant with my hands. See there? See how easy that is? And then just setting it right down into the pot. Wow, that was better luck than good management. That's like literally perfect placement. You don't want to sink your cactus too deeply in the pot. It's better to have the root ball a little bit above grade so that the water kind of pours off the crown so you don't run the risk of crown rot. And make sure that if you live in a place where you get a lot of rainfall, that you protect your potted cactus by putting them underneath some sort of covering so that they aren't getting rained on the regular. As you know, in the land of milk and honey here in San Diego, that is not an issue, but I do understand that for many of you, it is. Now, if I didn't have this much extra potting soil to work with, what kind of soil might I use? Anything that drains, really. Do I mix it with pumice or with vermiculite or dry stall? No, I don't. But then again, I live where it really never rains. So if that is a concern for you, I would recommend that you research some ways to add aeration to your soil and that you get some dry stall or some pumice or some vermiculite. In bigger pots, you can line them with plastic or with boulders or with, anything really to raise up the level so you're not using so much soil. But in a pot as little as this, it's not a problem. Doesn't matter. So yes, now I am pressing down the soil really well. Don't skimp on this, guys. You do not want your plant to sink down in the pot in 6 months' time because then you're going to have to dig the whole mess out and start over again. Now this plant, you know, I don't overthink pot and plant pairings. I really don't. It happens. I look at it and I know, oh my gosh. And why? Because I'm following my heart. And if you look at a combo and you get happy and excited and you think, oh, that looks so good, then do it. Don't worry about it. If you're not sure, if you're not feeling it, then continue looking for a different pairing. Follow your heart when it comes to choosing and marrying pots and plants. You always want to choose a special specimen for a special pot. Now, that was pretty easy. Y'all can handle that, right? But what about top dressing? You know my rule. I don't ever want to see dirt showing. So I pulled a couple of options without really giving them a lot of thought because I wanted to work through the process with you. I've got some little black rock that I picked up at Planter Paradise. It's called Black Bean Pebble. So I've got that color. I'll just put it down right there. And I've also got, looks like it's second cousin, a tan pebble. So I'm feeling like the tan pebble is the one that I'm going to want to choose. I feel like the black is going to it's just a little too dark and everything's going to get a little bit lost, meaning the eye isn't going to know where the plant stops and the pot starts. So by using the tan colored rock, what I do visually is I create kind of a bridge between the plant and the pot, or a stop, maybe like a stop sign where the eye appreciates the cactus and says, oh look, that's such a cool cactus, I love it. Then it sees the top dressing, stops there for just a second, recalibrates, and then says, oh my gosh, and look at that pot that she's putting it in. So there's some tips for you for planting. Also, while we're right here, some of you have asked about the little tackle box and how it's doing. This was another one that I pulled everything out of and reset its cuttings at the beginning of quarantine about 4 months ago. And this poor thing gets blasted in the afternoon with sun. Oh my gosh, it gets so hot out here. Everything has rooted in there. You know, it's a little sparse. I could probably fluff up a few areas, clean it up. You know, I've got some dead leaves. But all in all, I'm happy. I think it looks amazing. And also, here's that jewelry that we planted. Remember, these tiny little cuttings were planted right on metal? And yeah, would I wear that to the ball? Heck no, not now. But also, sitting out here for months in the heat, okay? No water. No, I mean, it just, that metal is such a conducer for heat. And those little plants aren't dead. Isn't that amazing? So I could continue to work with that. I could even fluff that up. Oh, and also while we're in the neighborhood, we can check on this little cactus. Oh, this is one of my favorite things in the garden. You know, this was just a little pot that Hannah found at a consignment store. And she drilled some holes in the, oh wait.
Not on all of them.
Does this have a hole? No, this does. I'm a terrible, terrible example. This one doesn't have a hole, but I'm careful. Okay, you drill your holes. But we put this little piece, because remember it was rotting, so I cut it and cleaned it and stuck it in this cute little pot. That was also about 4 months ago at the beginning of quarantine. Okay, can you see those little baby roots? Those little white wormy looking things? So it is starting to reroot. Do you also notice how this is basically laying right on the little decorative rock? It's not really even connecting with soil. And it's absolutely fine. And no, I have not watered this. And yes, it sits here in the sun all day, every day. And I think it is going to be absolutely fine. Okay, so you can also use your multi-tool to pick out, knock off any rock or dirt. Make sure, remember, to get that rock up under the skirts too. I do not want to see any dirt, guys, right? And also, if you are watching, and I know you are because you're fabulous followers, a shout out to Marina V and Inez Z. Thank you guys so much for joining and for supporting my channel. I appreciate you more than words can express. You guys are the best. All right, what do you think? Do you like it? I love it. This is something that I'm going to enjoy for years to come. Remember, I'm going to keep it out of rain, keep it dry, and put it probably in a kind of shady spot in my garden for now, only because I want to give it a chance to acclimate and I really want to, enjoy it, and I don't plan on putting any water on it. So this has been Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity with a little update and really fantastic pot and plant pairing. Have a great day. See you next time.